Let's start the conversation with the finder. It says that I didn't lie for vote. I'll deliver on all promises. President Akufo-Addo there. That's one key story we'll take a look at. The Heritage says lecturers abandon post over poor conditions. This is at the Koforidua Technical University. The Times, we will not spare saboteurs. That's the head of the local government service at Watha talking there. VIP challenges businesses to invest in water sanitation sectors. The Statesman says Marshall Plan for Agriculture, VIP reviews, President commissions water project. And the Business Week says Ghana's energy bonds are nearly here. BNFT says banking sector to go under foreign care as new 400 million cedi rate threatens to wipe out local players. These are some of the newspapers I have with me. My guest to do the talking this morning, Member of Parliament for the Adaklu constituency, Honorable Kwame Abuja. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
And I guess you had a restful break.
I had a break. Restful, I'm not sure. But it's all
You're
good.
back in the constituency, I guess.
Yes, much of the time to do some work.
I'm also expecting the MPP Member of Parliament for the Ewutu Senior constituency, Honorable George Anda, to join us when he's here. But let's start from here. There is an issue that will tie into papers. The finder says, I didn't lie for votes. That's the president talking there. Now, if you take a look at a story on the Ghanaian Times, page 17 or page 11, it says that MMDCs won't be elected in 2018. That's a deputy local government minister, Obiamwa, talking there. The president in the finder says that I didn't lie for vote. I'll deliver on all promises. The story captured by Elvis Darkon says the president Nana Akufo-Addo is optimistic of delivering on all the promises he made during the 2016 election campaign period to demonstrate that not all politicians make promises just for purposes of gaining political votes. He explained that when politicians make promises they cannot honor, it weakens the trust of our people. This, according to him, is not good for democratic governance, and his government is therefore committed to redeem all its promises. He gave the assurance when he addressed members of the Upper West Region House of Chiefs in Wa on the first day of a 7-day tour of the Upper West, Upper East, and Northern regions. And that's the story. It goes on and on and on. He talks about the job planting for food and jobs program, his revival of the health insurance scheme, and on and on and on. But let me begin the conversation from here. Yeah. Who could the president be talking to? The minority, because the suggestion is that the minority is saying that he's not fulfilling all his promises?
Well, thank you very much, my brother. Good morning to your cherished viewers, especially those from the Adaklu constituency. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share this wonderful platform once again. I think the issue is quite clear. I doubt if there's anybody in Ghana now who is not fully convinced in his mind that NPP came to power on the back of a wanton deception and propaganda. And in the process, they promised all sorts of things and did and said all sorts of things against the previous government just to get power. And behind the scenes, some of them will tell you point blank, let's do whatever it takes to get power. And indeed, that is what they did. If the president says he's not, he didn't lie to come to power, or all that he promised he's delivering, or he will deliver. Let's just take a few of them. By now, all utility tariffs are supposed to be down, according to his own penchant for castigating the previous government for not doing enough to reduce the cost of living in this country. I am not aware of anybody's utility tariffs that have come down. In fact, they keep going up. Fuel prices,
water,
of course, utility tariff, fuel. I will not increase fuel. Fuel keeps increasing, and indeed, it's quite interesting. Then you'll be there, and then a minister will just say, "Well, we can't do this." we talk about, how do you call it, teacher training allowance, or we'll give it to everybody. When the time came, then they start putting impediments. Or we'll make access to teacher training colleges of education accessible to everybody, and we will pay. And I remember going to a major training college of education with Honorable Okujetu, and we keep asking the students, did you ask Dr. Baumia when he came there, whether when they return the allowance, whether they would stop or they would put a cap on the intake as well? They said yes, and he said to them that it will not affect the intake. Today we know that all the training the colleges of education and nurses training colleges have been given quotas. So when the president is saying that he didn't lie, or they didn't lie to come to power, I don't know who he's talking to. Just as you've read, the deputy local government minister saying that they are not going to elect MMDCs. It was a major campaign promise that they were going to elect them by 20. Within 24 months. Now they are giving a signal they are not going to do that. They will stamp out corruption. Now we know that all they do is that use a certain section of the security agency when anything is thrown at them, instead of doing proper investigation, which is not within the control of government. They use a certain section of the security agencies to whitewash the situation, the bust, whatever you call it. So I think he can sit at the comfort of his office and be pretending that Ghanaians believe him when he says that he didn't lie himself into power. I mean, where's Dr. Baumia these days? The money is here. I mean, it's just a matter of a good leader, and everything that we needed to pay for, we could pay for. Where's Dr. Baumia today when the city is not stable, when things in this country economically are bad? We will not borrow. When they have borrowed over 17 billion, and even without a hand coup to show for it, what did they do with the 17 billion? So, Mr. President, I am sure even your wife doesn't believe you when you say that you didn't lie your way into power, because everybody knew you did. Can
we say, as the president said, that, well, it is the beginning of a process. So these promises were made, but we're working towards it. So we will definitely deliver, but the processes are slow.
Well, you can reduce.
So for instance, MMDC's election, we have to start the processes.
Well, the minister,
even though we promised 24 months, we need to start it.
The minister didn't give any time, any timeline. In any case, they were not living in Sao Tome when they made those promises. They were living in this country. Dr. Baumia, for instance, when I mentioned him, he said, I have ever worked at the Bank of Ghana. I know the money is here. The issue is about leadership. So it is not about them living in another country. They didn't know what was going on. They knew exactly what was going on. So in fact, I kept saying, I am yet to see one single promise the MPP made, which they have religiously delivered. Because
the senior high school?
No. They went telling people who were in school that when we come, we will remove the fees. You will not pay fees. And then you come, then you redefine redefine what is called a pass rate. So today, when you are in SHS, you don't know what JHS, you don't know what a pass is. Because for you to go to SHS, the education minister redefined a pass rate because they gave a cutoff point, which is nobody knows what a pass is. So out of that, in fact, a lot of people can't access the free SHS, including people in my village. You can check. I mean,
because they didn't make the pass grade or what?
Well, because they deliberately. Listen, it's being smart. You wait. They did make the promise. They waited. When the time came, they looked at the maximum way of putting a big barrier in front of majority of the people. So one of the ways is to say that if you wrote the exam, if you should have been somebody who just got your result recently, you should have gotten a certain grade. Look, I'm not against people saying that a scholarship scheme should have some sweetness, like you should attain a certain grade to benefit. I, as a member of parliament, I find it challenging that I pay school fees for people who are not even ready to show me their result slip at the end of the day. But that was not what they promised. They promised a blanket free education. Today we know that only a fraction, less than 1/3 of the people are probably qualifying for that.
But Honorable, you are in parliament, so you know the amount of resources you need to to roll out a 3-year free senior high school program. Yeah. And certainly this is not the economy that can support it. So if the government says, let me start with the first year, isn't it prudent?
No, it is an act of deception. If you say you can do it, and you see, when we kept saying that President Mahama was doing the right thing in a sense that even some of the schools don't have the needed infrastructure. As we sit here, if you were to go to Adaklu Senior High School, that they've sent people there, some of the dormitories have not even been completed because the government have reduced the amount of money that should go to get fund to complete those projects. So who actually put a gun on the head of NPP to make those promises and insist that it must be done the way they are doing it? If you believe that the dormitories are not there, why couldn't you go and apologize to Ghanaians that I lied and I need forgiveness? If you go and say that I want to start free SHS, because of that, a dormitory block which is under construction, it's a construction site, you let the kids go, and you saw the pictures on social media, kids sleeping rough on the floor, mosquitoes biting them. Some of them are now being asked to tell their parents to bring mosquito nets to put in the windows. No beds, other things.
This is in Adaklu constituency.
All over the place. And I'm saying that this is even amounting to child abuse because these kids are under a certain age that needed protection by everybody. So if you send these children and then cook anything for them that is in the name of a free meal and then put them on a floor on a construction site and say that is a dormitory, wait and see what the outcome will be in terms of result. I'm not preaching doom, but with this level of implementation, I'll be surprised if the outcome in terms of results is any better.
Let's come to the taxes that the NPP promised. Basically, they talked about nuisance taxes. Now, the Abosokan tax, that's what I prefer to call it, the Abosokan tax. Some taxes, the 17% on domestic airline, several of them that they prefer to call nuisance taxes have been removed. Isn't that also something the government can point to say that at least we have started well by delivering on some of the promises?
I am very, I would commend government for removing VAT on airline tickets because as a ranking member for road and transport, I know how many times the operators came to Parliament pleading with us to help them reduce their costs by removing that distance. But then we kept reminding them that at a point in time, President Mahama removed a chunk of tax on aviation fuel, but that was never passed on to the public. So it is not as if once you reduce the VAT or remove the VAT, it will automatically make their work any easier. But government removed it, which is a good thing. But I'm talking about it is good for those who fly. But we're talking about tax that can touch my grandmother. That would have been fuel price. But that one keep going up. So in other words, NPP being, let's say, center-right party, looks after rich people. So those people who fly, who take aircraft, are a better concern to the president than the people who need to sit in trotro. So he keeps allowing the price of fuel to go up so that vehicle transportation transport fares will go up. However, people who fly can have a reduced effect. That is the point. And in any case, find out from Abosokan people whether when they go to the port, they clear their vehicles cheaper today. Listen, I mean, it was a con. Everybody knew. And then the 3% flat rate for VAT. I mean, they have to be doing a lot of PR to reduce the tension amongst some businessmen. So where is it? And in any case, if all these things have been reduced, another thing, why the agitation? Why are people picketing till today? Why are drivers in arms? If as we speak, that drivers demonstrating somewhere else because of the fuel prices and another thing. And you ask yourself, who says government cannot reduce the tax element in the compilation of fuel prices? They can reduce it.
Government say it has no control over it.
Well, since when have they not got control over it? In fact, government have got control over everything. They can control anything. So, I mean, the drivers are in arms because if you listen to them, you told us you reduce it. And now you can't reduce it. So once again, I want to tell the president, I don't believe, even his wife believes him when he says that they didn't lie themselves into power, because time and again, take item after item, I believe there's not a single promise made by NPP which they have religiously delivered on. They have dodged the main things, or just put something as a caveat there and then leave it. Free SHS. I mean, a program that only benefits less than 1/10 of the people who qualify, and you call it, you are patting yourself in the back, and then people will get mosquitoes biting them, everything on construction site called a dormitory. For God's sake.
Okay. Honorable, I'm grateful. Let me also welcome the Member of Parliament for the Wutu Senior West constituency, Nei George Anta. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing great.
I'm very well, my God.
Thanks for your time. I know why you are, the smile on your face, because of what Honorable Abuja said.
No, he was just agreeing with me.
Well, so we're talking about the final story. The president, he didn't lie for votes. And so, Honorable, your colleague in Parliament is saying that, well, for him, if it takes item by item, he thinks that the NPP did not entirely tell the people of Ghana the truth.
I normally have a lot of respect is not the right word, but he's a good man, you understand? So this is actually the first time that I've heard him speaking this way and using such words that the president was a con man and stuff like that. And I'm surprised that my honorable colleague will be saying things like this. You see, sometimes we need to remind them that it is the people of Ghana that put His Excellency the President and the NPP into power. And they gave the President 4 years to deliver on his mandate. They claim to be in a comfortable, in fact, they claimed to have been in a comfortable lead to being re-elected. Now they say they're in a comfortable lead in opposition, leading up to the next election, 2020. His Excellency the President is committing himself to improve the livelihood of Ghanaians for the 4-year term that the Ghanaians have given him the mandate. Remember that our manifesto was themed an agenda for change, creating prosperity and equal opportunities for all. There are some things that you cannot use propaganda to dilute. I was in the constituency yesterday. The regional minister was doing a duty tour, and we met with the traditional councils. And each one of the traditional councils, they say they can see the good works of His Excellency the President.
You don't think they told the NDC the same?
Hold on, no, listen. They are talking about free SHS. Honorable Abuja is saying that only a third of the beneficiaries. I can't think far. 0 and 30%. Is it the same? You were given 0. Now, in the first year, we have given 30%.
No, actually.
Totally. I didn't talk when you were coming.
Honorable, is that
Wait, hold on.
Is that a promise? Did you promise 30%?
We said we will do free SHS. We have 4 years. Our mandate is for 4 years. We said within the 4 years, we'll give free SHS. In the first year, we have given free SHS for SHS1 students. Okay? There are 30% of parents who would have paid school fees for their wards that now are getting a relief.
That is the truth.
So how can you think? Can I finish?
Hold on. To roll out a 3-year senior high school program was going to be that expensive. So it is only prudent that government start from year 1 and move it on. Isn't that the real situation?
Then you should be telling him that.
No, I have told him.
You should be telling him that.
I have told him.
Okay, so what is the fuss?
And he said that is not what you promised.
Let's do what we are doing. Did you do it?
Yes, we started. Listen.
I won't argue with you on this matter.
No, there were 45 students that are
the Ghanaians are the judge. This is right. Ghanaians are the judge. If you say what His Excellency the President and the Minister of Education are doing now is what you did. Oh, you are. Let the good people of Ghana be the judges. Okay? This is not a propaganda matter. I will not waste my time to argue with you on the word progressive and stuff like that. Okay? For me, the Ghanaians who have been beneficiaries are the best testimony. It's not what you say to me. When I go to the constituency and the parents come and hug me and they give me messages to give to the president, that is my indication that the promises of His Excellency the President
You've been getting hugs.
are crucial.
Hey.
Okay? When we talk about reducing taxes, okay? He spoke about airline taxes being reduced. It means that we are looking at the affluent people in society. And I sit back and I listen and I'm like, opposition is not good though.
Your government promised, your government said that the special petroleum tax is criminal. The man now chairing the Finance Committee of Parliament stood in Parliament and said that the special petroleum tax is criminal and that when government is in power, it will remove it. Member of Parliament for Kakwe supported that statement and said that government will remove it. It is still there.
The same way Honorable Abu just sat down here a few minutes ago and he says that government can easily remove the taxes. Why didn't his government do it?
Because
the Minister of
why
Energy,
did you say it is criminal and yet the
Minister
party is
of
perpetrating
Energy,
that crime?
the Minister of Energy last week had a press conference. You are aware, okay? And he stated clearly that by 2018, these taxes would be removed.
You're perpetrating a crime till 2018?
Listen, the position of the party or the position of the government is a position that has been articulated by the Minister of Energy. He is responsible for discussions based on energy, and he has come and he has given out a press conference. He's made a press conference and he has stated that we are still committed to doing this, and we are looking at 2018 for this to be addressed.
The issue is that if something is criminal, why do you
I am not privy. Okay, if you can show me the Hansard where he used the word criminal, we can have this discussion. Okay, but until then, I wasn't in Parliament at that time. I wasn't a member of Parliament at that time, and I don't have any evidence that what you are saying is what he said. Okay, what I'm aware of is a press conference that has been issued by the Minister of Energy, where he has stated clearly that by 2018 or within 2018, these taxes will be removed, and there will be significant relief that is going to be brought onto the ordinary Ghanaians.
So for you, don't interact him. So for you, if the minority is suggesting, and I'm sure the president is responding to the minority when he says that I didn't lie for vote. If the minority is suggesting that the president or the party is not fulfilling its entire promises, they're simply not telling the truth.
Who's not telling
the minority?
Well, I mean, the minority have their strategy. I mean, listen, every minority strategy is to get the government to lose focus. Is to keep on criticizing the government. We all know it. Probably we did it when we were in minority or when we were in opposition. Okay,
to lose focus with what? Lies or what?
I mean, yeah. They'll throw things to make you lose focus, and then you always spend your time firefighting. You understand? And for us, our strategy, and the president keeps on saying that even if he has to take tough decisions that will cost him a next election, he will take those tough decisions if those decisions are in the best interest of the country. You cannot sit here and say that we are not doing anything when the issues of Galamsey that you were never able to address are being addressed. The water bodies are clearing. Okay? You cannot sit here.
Galamsey is actively going on.
You don't disrupt his stuff. Okay. Please.
Can I talk without being rudely interrupted, young man?
Please
My
go
brother,
ahead.
please.
Please
okay. So you cannot talk about us not doing anything when at the port we've implemented the paperless office.
You didn't. That already existed. I'm forced to
when it is your turn, it's a
proper lie.
You can react to it.
That has been in existence before they came.
When it's your turn, you can react. Note it down.
Some of the things need to be corrected before it goes far.
So that you don't disrupt his thought, please. Note it down.
That has been in the process before you came.
You can react. Nay, please go on.
You cannot say that we are not doing anything when we've implemented the National Identification Card project.
Look at that.
Okay,
something that has already been there before you came.
It's already there.
I will be compelled to turn off your microphone next time you
Anyway,
interrupt.
let him go.
You cannot be sitting down here saying that we are not doing anything, okay, when the housing address system is going to kick off. You cannot be sitting down saying that we are doing anything. We are not doing anything. When Ghana is going digital, you cannot be sitting down here and saying that we're not doing anything when the NCA is taking tough decisions to make sure that people meet their houses are in compliance of the law that you signed and you assented to. Okay, so listen. The work of governance is a continuous process. Okay, I'm not one of those that will sit down here and say that the previous administration did nothing at all. Obviously, okay, they did certain things, but in the wisdom of Ghanaians, the message of His Excellency, the President, Asiedu-Dartey Akufo-Addo, was more connecting with them, okay? And they believed that His Excellency Nana Asiedu-Dartey Akufo-Addo would take Ghana, okay, to the next level. And that is why they gave Ghanaians, that's why Ghanaians gave His Excellency the mandate to turn things around, okay? It won't happen in one day.
Okay.
Okay.
It will take time.
It will take time. Okay. And then we are working. We are working. So, I mean...
but isn't that what the minority is asking? That government should just consider these things are difficult to be done and that it will take time to get it done?
If governance was easy, then my 14-year-old son TJ would be the president. Okay, of course it's not easy. And that is why it takes a leader, it takes a visionary leader like His Excellency the President Asiedu-Dartey Akufo-Addo to be turning things around.
Let's get to the Ghanaian Times this morning. Page 11, I think it ties in with what we're discussing. The Deputy Local Government Minister has just told Ghana that the election of MMDCs is not possible. He said that the procedures involved in making such positions electable have not yet been triggered. The paper says that the NPP in 2016 manifesto promised to oversee the direct election of MMDCs within 24 months of election into office to coincide with the next district assembly elections in 2019. But Mr. Obiamwa says that it seemed that might not be achieved. He did not rule it out. He says that might not be achieved as promised. He is suggesting, for instance, that, or explaining that MMDC elections to be possible, there is a need for a referendum to be held or Article 55(3) of the Constitution amended to make the position a partisan one. He stated emphatically that the election of MMDCs will certainly not take place in 2018. He, however, says that we're working towards that, but certainly it is not 2018. The next assembly election is September 2019. We should be able to work towards that date. Most probably by September 2019, we can let the referendum coincide with the assembly election so that by the time Ghanaians are voting for the assembly members, they will also be deciding that after 2019, MMDCs should be elected on multi-party basis. That's the story so far. Honorable Ney, let me again begin with you. This is where the commentary is that this is what should be the posture of government, that we promised certain things, but on assuming office, we realize that there are processes to be gone through before we get them done. And so, for instance, what Mr. Obiamwa is saying is simply the right thing to do.
Well, I think when you said MMDCs wouldn't be elected in 2018.
Right.
I'm not sure that is what the content of what you have read says.
But that is what Mr. Obiamwa said.
No. The headline, okay, what I heard you reading is that there are a number of processes that need to be undertaken, okay? And I didn't hear you read him saying that 2018 would not be possible.
Well, but that is what he said. Okay, so if you want me to read
that side.
Now, this is what Mr. Obiamwa is saying. Now, the NPP in 2016 manifesto promised to oversee the direct election of MMDCs within 24 months of election into office to coincide with the next district assembly elections in 2019. But Deputy Minister of Local Government, Mr. Obiamwa, seems, this is what he's saying, that it might not be achieved as promised. He's explaining here that the MMDC elections for it to be possible, there's a need for a referendum or Article 55(3) of the Constitution amended to make the position a partisan one. He stated emphatically that the election of MMDCs will certainly not take place in 2018. This is the Times story here.
Okay. Well, I'm yet to read a statement from him that says that. But I think the bottom line is that the government is still committed to make sure that the election of MMDCs
exactly
happens.
He said
there's a process that needs to be undertaken. Certainly that process will be undertaken. But the commitment of making sure that we deliver on our promise to elect or to repose on Ghanaians their responsibility, okay, or their privilege of electing their local administrative heads is still there. You understand? So it's not. Yeah, maybe when we go to the drawing board, we may miss it by a few months.
Right.
Okay. But I don't think that is a train smash. The fact that we would go through the process in a non-partisan way to elect local leaders, okay, is what His Excellency the President is talking about.
Right.
Okay, he wants Ghanaians to be responsible for electing their local administrative leaders, that's the MMDCs, and for me, I think that is crucial.
I'm grateful. Honorable Agboja, so the process is such that it can be done within the promised time, but the commitment to do it is there, and that's what the Deputy Local Government is saying.
Before he comes to you, what he said is it might not.
Yes, it might not. That's
and the word might could go either way. I think it's better to err on the side of caution and manage the expectations.
Right.
Okay, that it might not be possible. If we do it, then that's
a plus.
Yes.
All right. So that's the issue. Honorable Agboja.
You see, I don't believe there's any government in the world that can fulfill all the things they wish they would do if given the opportunity. It is wrong to think that there's any government that can do that. The difference between an honest government and a government who embarks on what NPP did, which is to, and I'll repeat again, lie themselves into power and then look for a way of wiggling themselves out of that. You see, let me remind my very good friend that he said you didn't give him any evidence of when Asiedu-Dartey said the thing. In fact, I'll give you this thing. Yes, on the 19th of November 2014 in Parliament. In fact, he said worse. He said this was criminal and that he's even ready to resist it with his blood. But this was reported by Joy.
Right. I don't even understand why you are going.
No, I'm really. Hold on.
I didn't want to drag the issue.
I asked for a specific document.
If we can move on, but that is what he said.
He
said it is criminal.
Not only criminal. I'm saying that he said he will resist it with his blood, and I'm saying that the question you asked my very good friend is relevant. This is the chairman of a finance committee.
He's not the chairman of the
senior
finance
member
committee.
of your party, saying that something is criminal, and you are telling Ghanaians watching you and I that you are okay with perpetuating that criminality until 2019. Do you think the people will take your party serious?
You see,
anyway, because the huge
if you would, I don't draw him into your.
Okay,
you know something.
Okay,
so you please go.
Hold on, let me say
you are now on the tangent of to interject me rudely now.
Rudely, you have drawn him into your conversation.
No,
because you've directed something.
He said he has no idea.
No, help
He's not
him.
seen the
He said I was rudely interrupting.
Can you
rudely not interrupt me?
I just want to make a point.
I wasn't asking you a question. No, let me go.
All right.
When you get your
opportunity to get into a banter with you.
when you get
it's
your
very
opportunity,
unnecessary.
okay.
Just talk the facts.
When you get your
I'll get the chance to please, Kwame, you go.
Let me tell you something. I earlier said that government can do anything they want to do. In fact, 99% of work we do in Parliament is government business. I will tell you why what Honorable Obi Amwa, a senior colleague, said is still fits into what NPP is trying to do. That is, they lie themselves into power and try to redefine what they mean. Look, when they assumed office, you remember very well, simply because they want to sack all government appointees, which we all passed law. Of course, you were not there when we passed a law and say that let's give some security of tenure of office of government appointees. One evening,
Even when the rainstorm took off the roof of Parliament, the roof was removed. In fact, Speaker's table was being drenched in water. We sat there just to change a local government legislation to allow you, the NPP, to sack all government appointees. Who says you cannot change the law? You cannot change the law now to do the election the next time. Bring it to Parliament. You are selecting the things that will favor you. So when they say that they might not be able to do it, don't buy into it. It's simply because they lied about it. Otherwise, I dare them, Honorable Obiama and the minister himself, tomorrow morning, bring the law for us to change, for you to do the election next month. Go and do it.
There's a referendum, and it means resources.
Hold on. Who says that government cannot do it? Look, if they say they want to organize referendum by the end of the year, it is within their means. They are busy pursuing other legislation that fit them. So they are picking and choosing what to do. And I'm saying that the most important law NPP have, in fact, the first law NPP tried to do in Parliament when they assumed office was to change the local government legislation to sack government appointees even when the roof of Parliament was blown off in a rainstorm. In fact, that day, I'm a consultant in the built environment. It was the most reckless thing anybody can do. It's as if, it's like this building, you can hear the building is coming down, and your employer insists you must stay and work, assuming something happened to you. It would have been an act of negligence, but because they wanted to sack them, they did it. And I'm saying that I dare NPP, if you really meant your promise, you don't have to go as far as 2018. If you want to organize a referendum by the end of the year, you can. In any case, who says there's no money? Dr. Bawumia said he sat at the Bank of Ghana. That is why he's speaking from a position of knowledge, that this country is awash with money. So there's no problem. The NPP is not complaining that there's no money to do referendum. They have the money. So it is a simple matter of they lie themselves into power and believe that gradually any promise, in fact, currently, if you don't take time, they will tell you that everything they promise, they can fulfill it on 6th of December 2020, and it's still within their 4-year mandate.
I see. Honorable, come in quickly. If you wanted to react so that we can take a look at it.
Where you have a member of parliament talking about the government lying and using such.
Hey, lie is a small word when you're in opposition. Are you the one from Occupy Ghana? You remember the things you guys said? On a lighter note, is Occupy Ghana still active or
they are they're active. Well, why?
When those days I sat here and told you Occupy Ghana was nothing but a wing of NPP, I was told no, they are the self-made people.
No, they are very active.
Genuine people. Now you have seen that all of them were just a wing of NPP, isn't it?
That's what you're saying. But I'm going to go so that John will get us some comments.
When you have a member of parliament that decides that
he'll
put professionalism aside and do propaganda, I won't get into the gutter with him.
Hey, I'm in the gutter now.
Okay, I wouldn't get into the gutter with him. Okay, so for me, it's our message that connects with the good people of Ghana. Okay, that is most important. It's our commitment to do the things that work that are most important. And he's talked about Occupy Ghana. It is a fact, okay, that before I went into frontline politics, I stood down my position in Occupy Ghana.
Okay, you want to react to that?
I am a member of Occupy Ghana.
I think he was just saying.
No, but you don't. You see, you don't make such loose, irresponsible comments. I mean, as a member of parliament. I think he was only joking.
No. But you were a member of Occupy Ghana. I don't mind using. You can be abusive. I can do the same. I'm
not sure you.
Was he not a member of this thing? Which member of Occupy Ghana is not a member of NPP now? They have a few of them are in parliament. So if he says that is a loose talk, we can all get down into that. I wouldn't go down into the gutter with him on those things. This is the first time I've ever heard a sitting member of parliament use those words against his colleague, and I'm completely appalled.
Do I still have my time?
All right.
Do I still have my time?
You couldn't use that word against your colleague and then expect that.
Have my time?
That is very appalling.
You have. But I think that even before he started, he said.
No, but you should tell him the use of the word.
I think he was only trying to.
Listen, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are to use that word? No. It's not nice. How could you tell your colleague use it? I mean, it's not right.
there.
Listen, if you decide that he made those comments on a lighter note, I don't take
He
those
said it from the beginning.
but I don't take those
Is it not
comments.
true that all of you were only
do I have my time?
NPP agenda?
Kwame,
Do I have my time?
Right, you have your time, please.
It is my right as a Ghanaian to decide to believe in any political ideology that I believe is good for me. If I decide to believe in the ideology of the New Patriotic Party, and you have a problem with that, that is your problem. You understand? I believe in the leadership of His Excellency the President. I believe in the ideology of the NPP. And I'll work to the last drop of blood that I have to make sure that with the NPP, Ghanaians have a better way of life.
Okay, I'm grateful. Johnny, let's pick some comments from you.
Good morning, Senior Bright, Johnny and Amma. GM always seeks for the interest of the nation first, unlike parochial interests, people who when election didn't, well, Anel is jamming my system here. Let's get some of them on social media, on WhatsApp now, okay. Great. So when election didn't favor them, or doesn't favor them, they hijacked the country for 9 good months in court without thinking of the negative impact of it. We thank God Almighty for His mercy upon you, JM. You have no size. Osman Brigson in Tabale. Good morning, Ghana. Please, I'm still reminding the Newday team about my earlier post about the UTTB program undertaken by some section of teachers who have completed since last year, August, and have still not received their certificate for upgrading, appealing to your office to draw the attention of authorities to it. Well, we've told the ministry about it. You saw the deputy minister here. We've told her about it as well. So we are waiting their response. Good morning, TV3. President says he came to meet that. To me, is baseless. He should deliver his campaign promises. Amuzo Oscar Solo in Georgia, Volta region. Good morning, TV3. Government should investigate through the Ministry of Roads and Scrap Dealers to find out the manhole missing metal cover at the highways. You're talking about the one at Makala Mohammed Kufor. Thank you. Good morning, TV3. Mr. President, we believe in action. More contracts were terminated since you came into office. Why? Work hard to achieve your promises. Alvin in Tadi. Good morning, TV3. At Chimota Basic School, the headmistress is taking over 1,000 Ghana cedis for admission. Why? We'll find out and tell you more later on TV3. Good morning, TV3. The MPP should know that Ghanaians will surely show them the exit come 2020, inshallah. Looking at what is happening in the country, seems no one is willing to vote for such a party whose only the families and friends are enjoying. They should not forget that it's the floating voters who brought them to power. Oh, yo, Ismaila Horoya and Ali Nima. Yakubu in Walewale says, the battle is still the Lord's. In the month of September, after working hard for the month and you have been told that your salary has not come for that month as a professional teacher, MPP government will live to see where you're driving us with your incompetent way of governing the state. The free education is not the solution to Ghanaians' problems, to take Ghanaians out of poverty, but rather better pay your way to clear the poverty in the country. Solomon says, God bless you for your educative and entertaining programs, TV3. Please, the NPP government and GES should kindly inform the newly trained teachers when they are going to be posted, because it's been 4 weeks since the basic schools resumed and no news has come from GES as to when posting will be done. Moreover, such a situation has never happened before. Why is this happening now? You want to know. Good morning. Upper East is more than prepared for His Excellency as a restoration of hopes for the hopeless, creation of jobs, fulfillment of campaign promises, and a listening father is the bedrock of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government. God bless Ghana. God bless MPP from Kawawa Tirag, a youth organizer up there in the Boku Central. MPP, Nana Addo made a lot of promises, and he can't meet all. Very soon, workers will start going on strike because of the delay in salaries. Indeed, you're the best of all we have for now, no doubt. But I wish our noble president lives long to fulfill most of the promises he gave us during the campaign season. Yes, Kwame in Sunyani. Good morning, TV3. The NPP government has no moral right to tell Ghanaians to be considerate. You promised us, please deliver and stop all those noise, Mr. President. Isn't it an undisputable fact that the NPP and corruption are inextricably intertwined? Bashir Issa from Pusiga instigates. Police are corrupt. I met a police at Sugakope Road who opened the Bible for me to drop the money in it. Really? They will never change. Mackenzie in Ho. Good morning, TV3. You are so grateful to the nation. Trusting the police cannot be done on earth here because the police do not know their work very well. They're making more corrupt. They're being more corrupt in the country for us. How can the police arrest someone, demand money from them before he or she is set free? Well, Thomas says that. Let's see some more from the news reviews. Bonti Benjamin in Achebe Bwako says the government that lies for votes can't fulfill its promises by implementing free SHS education, cutting domestic tariffs, strengthening NHI, NIA, and laying a giant economic foundation for Ghana to work. The opposition NDC should get serious for Ghanaians to take them serious. Good morning, TV3. What is going on in this country? Free SHS students are suffering. No sleeping. Students park their boxes on verandas at Away or our secondary school in Avrongo. Newly trained teachers are still sitting in the house without posting, and that wasn't what the vice president told us. Fuel prices increasing every day. The president and vice president are liars, you say. Good morning, TV3. Ghanaians were facing hardship for which the MPP promised to give them immediate relief. For example, reduction of electricity, water, and petroleum prices, managing the CD competently. Today, the CD is free fall, and we are disappointed in this government. They deceived us into voting for them. 2020 general elections, Mustafa Takrady. The same conclusion, right. I'm sure it speaks volumes.
Okay.
Thank you, Sina Bright.
Okay, Johnny, we're grateful for your comment. I wish we would have had time to take a look at the Maslow story, but this is what time would allow us for. Gentlemen, I'm grateful. We have to wrap up here. Kwame Akboja is a member of parliament for the Adaklu constituency, a member of the NDC, George Anda, member of parliament for the Wutu Senya West constituency, a member of the NPP. Those of you who sent in your comments, we're grateful. Thanks so much. But